Can all the cricket fans name most of the T20 leagues that are proliferating all over the world? You may say that there is the IPL, there is the Big Bash League, there is the Caribbean Premier League, there is the Vitality Blast, there is also the SA20, there is also IL20, Sri Lanka has its own league, Bangladesh has its own league, Pakistan has the Pakistan Super League. But there might be one more addition into the T20 circus, that is host a T20 league in Saudi Arabia, and there is one major game changer. That game changer is what I'm going to explain to you in this video. So there is a new T20 league on the cards with the Saudi Arabian government. They are holding talks with the IPL and BCCI officials at this point in time. Now you have to understand that the outreach that Saudi Arabia is making is massive when it comes to sports. You want to talk about F1, they host the annual Grand Prix there at Jeddah Corniche. Then on top of that, you look at football, look at the developments that they made in football. Cristiano Ronaldo is playing for Al Nassr. There are speculations that Karim Benzema and Lionel Messi might make it into the Saudi Premier League. Then there is also the Rebel Live Golf that is challenging the PGA at this point in time. Now with cricket, if they ink this deal, then it could change the entire way how T20 leagues will function, because the Saudi government is preparing the new proposal. But look at the second. You know the policy that the BCCI has, right? The BCCI forbids its Indian players to play in overseas T20 leagues because of the exclusivity clause. But now in the Saudi Arabia T20 League, which might be proposed in a couple of years, India's key players will be allowed to participate if the Saudi Arabian government convinces the BCCI and the IPL to mend its rules. And looking at the reports that are there, the BCCI and IPL might be willing to mend their rules to get players in the new Saudi Arabian T20 League, because the talks that have been going on between the Saudi officials and the IPL and BCCI, that has been going on for over a year now. And because of this, the BCCI might be willing to bend its rules slightly because Saudi Arabia is involved in this. And there is a bigger picture when you look at it when it comes to the Saudi Arabia T20 League, approved by the member countries. ICC chairman Greg Barclay has gone on to say that cricket will do well in Saudi. Now this is a very revealing statement as to how the ICC wants to enter Saudi Arabia. But the bigger picture that I am saying is Saudi Arabia wants to be the #1 tourist hub for India by 2030. That is the long-term goal that they have. In 7 years down the line, through the medium of cricket, Saudi Arabia wants to be the #1 destination when it comes to Indian tourists. So tourism in the form of cricket, plus in addition to F1 in Jeddah Corniche, as well as the football clubs and live golf. Through the medium of sports, Saudi Arabia is wanting to project its soft power and also ensure that many more people come. But what are the areas of concern? Now remember, if Saudi Arabia launches its own T20 league, what happens to the UAE-based ILT20? Because even that has got an IPL influence also. Emirates, then you had all the other T20 league. What happens to the ILT20? Second, Saudi hopes to become the global cricket destination. That is a big long shot that the Saudi officials are thinking about. But the last stumbling block, can India avoid the Saudi criticism of the West? Because remember, all this outreach that Saudi Arabia is doing, most of the Western countries have said that this is sports washing Saudi Arabia's dodgy human rights record. Now it is important to know that what will be the status of the member countries like New Zealand, like Australia, like England. What will happen to them? Will they toe the line with the BCCI and ensure, okay, let us all play cricket in Saudi Arabia? But then what happens to the government stance of the respective countries when it comes to the human rights thing? Plus, You have to understand that Saudi Arabia has not been on good terms with most of its neighbors. They just had a diplomatic standoff with Qatar that ended just 2 months before the FIFA World Cup. Plus, there is a war going on in Yemen as well, where Saudi Arabia is actively involved. How can they ensure that all this is put into the background? This will be the major stumbling block when you want to conceptualize the Saudi Arabia T20 League, because the key factor in this is India's key players, major players. If they play on for 1 or 2 more years, say likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Suryakumar Yadav and all the others, they will be allowed to participate in the Saudi Arabia T20 League if the Saudi officials in the BCCI have their way and the BCCI mends its rules slightly. So there is plenty at stake, and the picture that has been drawn, a long-term picture. Saudi Arabia wants to become the #1 tourist hub for India through cricket and other sports. The sporting outreach that is already there in multiple sports, football, F1, live golf, all that will be there to ensure that most of its dodgy human rights record gets sports washed completely. Will the member countries of the ICC make it happen? Will the ICC rake up this issue of dodgy human rights? That we don't know. But as of now, Saudi Arabia wants to launch a T20 league. The BCCI and IPL are in talks, and they seem to be very, very interested indeed. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon to know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.